I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Shocking news. The math still is not adding up in the Naziah Harris case. Now, for me, I just don't see how that pink onesie plays a part in any of this. Now, we're going to be backtracking. We're going to be doing a lot of backtracking. Now, in this testimony right here, you're going to hear, and I'm sure many of the others, gave their testimony as far as that pink onesie. Now, from a man right here, he claims that that pink onesie was fresh when they discovered the pink onesie, right? Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to my moderators. I see you, Kawana, Jonte, and Tracy. Now, if when he discovered the pink onesie, he said it was no more than 5 hours, I believe. And if Naziah went missing before or on January the 9th, many of us believe that Naziah Ben was missing. Many of us believe that way before the Detroit Police Department got involved in the case, many of us believe that Naziah was already unalive. That was the whole purpose of Miss Annette and Shannon waiting so long. All right, but let's focus on the pink onesie and when this pink onesie was discovered. Salute to the chat. I will get down there and entertain the chat. But let's just jump straight into this, y'all. And y'all tell me what you all think. I'm gonna need everybody to put on their thinking caps. I need everybody with forensic skills, all of the above. I need everybody to open up their third eye because this math in this case is still not adding up, y'all.
Looking at picture 63 here. Tell me, do you recognize anything in this photo?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
The pink article of clothing, the shoe.
Okay. And when you initially saw these items, is that how you saw them?
No, they were just balled up in the brush, just kind of stuffed in there.
Okay.
So
Continue.
I pulled them out and sent them that way so the detectives would see it.
Okay. So, photo 69. Is this the shoe that you had found that was inside the leg of the pink jumpsuit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
See, for me,
67.
it's too fresh. It's too clean. Now, if she was wearing these, wouldn't it have been blood on it? These shoes to me look damn near brand new. Appreciate you joining the Rock Squad, Marty with the mess. Appreciate you joining the platform. These sneakers is just too fresh. No scuffles, no dirt, no nothing. No blood, nothing. And then as he said that when he found it, everything was just, balled up. Once again, if they went through the process of eliminating her body, why would they leave these clothing articles around? They are brand new, Shank. So we're on the same page. Y'all follow me? Bridget, we're on the same page. It's brand new. That's brand new. I was thinking the same thing, Shank, brand new. Someone would have got those clean joints. Thank you, Almighty. Facts. I see y'all in the chat. I ain't buying this.
Is this
Yep.
a photo of them just from the behind?
Yes.
Okay, and you were the one who kind of took them apart and placed them separately like that.
I did.
Even the onesie. Now, maybe I'm reaching. Positive says planned it to throw us off. She wasn't on the elements for a year, not up north. Maybe I'm reaching, but where's the blood? I mean, the onesie is not even ripped. If those shoes were not in the elements up north for 1 year, it's no way. It rains, it snows. This math right here is definitely not adding up.
Yes. Yeah.
And did you do anything else as it relates to this case?
No.
Nothing further, Judge. Okay. Sorry, 1 minute. Oh, the coordinates that you gave, were those latitude, longitude?
Yes. Yep.
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay.
Well, like decimal degrees. So.
More is right within your reach. At Northeastern, you'll find more ways to transform ambition into
Agent Torrance, you said that you were taking part in a search of the area of 7 Mile Bird. Was that, how large of an area was it?
I probably searched at that point, not quite half a mile of river at that point. So not a huge area.
And you said you were part of a team?
Yes.
How many people were out there?
There was multiple counties out there assisting the search. Honestly, I couldn't give you an exact number. Probably several dozen.
7 dozen?
Several dozen.
Several.
There was different teams assigned to different parts of the river.
So different people were assigned to, or different teams were assigned to one like half-mile location, another half-mile location, or coordinates, I guess?
Yes, even smaller than that. Smaller sections than that, yeah. Just to keep guys fresh.
And was it like a coordinated effort then to kind of sweep this area?
Yes,
So you're just walking like in a straight line, or
for the most part.
can you describe kind of how that looks?
Yeah, so in the river, I'll go from the river to the banks. So in the river, you have different teams wearing dry suits, using technology, looking for anything that resembles a body, and then sticks to kind of push stuff loose. And then they're searching the log jams in the river. Then you have guys on the edge of the river, because the water level was high, so we wanted to cover the river banks as well, which the water level was high and had become lower. Then you have teams on the banks, and then teams kind of doing an S pattern along the river edge to make sure they cover as much ground as possible.
Thank you. And so you said that on this particular day, the water level was high?
No, the water level was high the week prior or so, so we wanted to make sure that we covered the river banks where the water was. The water was back to its normal level.
Was there a way to tell where the water level had been previously? Is there a way to mark that?
Sometimes it's just where debris gets caught up in the brush. It was maybe a foot higher, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was you personally that saw the pink onesie first, or the pink thing that you initially saw?
Yes.
Did you take pictures of it, how it looked when you initially found it?
I didn't. No.
Would you normally do something like that?
There's just so much stuff. I wasn't taking, it would have taken all day if I had taken a picture of everything I found. So
You stopped and kind of moved it, manipulated it?
I pulled it up to inspect it, noted that it was worthy of reporting, set it back down, radioed it in.
Okay, and how far did you set it down from the location where you initially located?
Same spot,
Exact same spot?
same brush.
And you said that part of what you do is kind of to note approximately how long it looks like he's been out there.
Yeah. Yes,
In
ma'am.
this particular case, what was it that you kind of found or thought when you noticed it?
There was no discoloration from the sun. You know, typically if something sits outside for a while, the sun's going to change the color that it sees, and then underneath it's going to be a different color.
Bingo. I mean, bingo. He's pretty much saying the same thing that I'm saying and the same thing that you all are saying. I mean, you can't make this ish up.
There was no discoloration in the article of clothing. So, and that can happen in weeks, and it's pretty quick. Depending on how much sun there is. There was no evidence of animals getting in it. There was no significant dirt. It looked very fresh.
What'd he say, y'all? It looked very fresh. Now, they don't get involved. This is 30 days later. 30 days later when they get involved. Math ain't adding up. Too fresh positive vibes. Too fresh. Fresh dummies, Sheik. Exactly.
Did you find or see any other clothing other than the shoe in that area?
Very old clothing, years old.
Like what, for example?
Maybe just old coats, but it was nothing pertinent. Things that were under layers of lots. Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of debris.
In
Under-
that general area, in that half-mile area that you were scanning?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to fast forward in a little bit. I'm going to let him finish up, but then I'm going to fast forward.
Anything else? Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Given that you photographed these and alerted these, did these the pink onesie and the shoe, those matched your aging description that you were following?
There was no age necessarily, if that's what you mean. Like they hadn't been out there for a long period of time.
Y'all see Jarvis in the back writing.
Thank you.
He stayed taking notes.
What can disqualify you from getting a life insurance policy?
Jarvis stayed
With
taking
us,
notes.
nothing. If you're age 45 to 85, we help.
Let me fast forward a little bit, y'all.
There's going to be a lot more in the actual cause report, but this is the information that exhibits what's in the map down below. So for row 1, which we only have one row in this instance, we're going to have the target device, which is the phone number, and the date, time that was requested. So in this case, it's going to be January 9th of 2024, and the time, which is in UTC time or military time. It's going to be 16:09 or 4:09 p.m. And then the duration, how long the activity lasted. You have a start lag and said that's actually your location information. And then the call type, in this case, it was a voice call.
I'm going to come back. Appreciate this super sticker, Shelly. Now, also keep in mind that Naziah texted Jarvis' phone. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Naziah texts Jarvis' phone 9 a.m., 10 a.m. that morning of January the 9th, correct? And she asked him, in reference to meeting up with him, being there, something to that matter. Keep that in mind also. Naziah texts Jarvis 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on the day that she allegedly went missing. So now we're going to take in consideration, because first we want to deal with Jarvis. Did Jarvis already have things mapped out? Did Jarvis know that he was going to unalive Naziah Harris? I'm going to keep the window open for those that still feel like Naziah Harris is still alive, because I do remember it was mentioned, I believe, Naziah to somebody that I won't be seeing y'all no more. See y'all later, or this is my last day. So you got to ask the question, did Naziah and Jarvis plan? Because I don't believe Naziah is still alive. And I hate to rain on anybody's parade, but it's still a question to keep in our minds. Could it be that Naziah, as the evangelist said, because the evangelist said that Naziah is smart. So what are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with a 13-year-old child that outsmarted her ops? Are we dealing with a monster pedo that wanted to hide Naziah's pregnancy by him taking her out? Or could it be the main thing that the majority of us feel, that Shannon eliminated Naziah? Those are just questions right now. Those are just questions that I want everybody to just keep, in their mind as we move on. And I'm going to come back to the chat, but I just want y'all to keep those thoughts in your mind.
Call status, whether it was completed or not completed. The direction, incoming or outgoing. Did he make the phone call or did somebody call him? And then you have the contact ID, which is who the device was contacting or interacting with.
Okay, and that would have been the phone number that in this case that we're looking at, an outgoing call was placed to?
Yes.
All right, so let's back up to the date, January 9th, 2024 that's what it says on Exhibit 33, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know to do that date in particular for this case?
So for all of these maps, this was requested by the officer in charge.
That information is supplied to you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the details of other parts of this investigation, or are you just taking the information the OIC gives you?
I know the general information, but they asked for a specific date and time, and this is what we place on the map.
Okay. And then moving over to the next room for time, it says 16:09 and 24 seconds, correct?
That's yes.
So that's my next question. You said that that's in UTC time. Can you describe or tell us what UTC time is?
No, this time that you have here is in our time, Eastern Standard Time. UTC time is Universal Time Coordinated, and that's like on the world clock. So you're going to have a -4 or a -5. The raw records come back to us in Universal Time Coordinated, and then we turn around and put it in our time so that you can read it and know that what time it happened here.
Okay. And so just to be clear, the 16:09 or 4:09 p.m. is what time
Eastern
it was
Standard
in
Time.
Detroit,
Yes.
where this one was at 4:09 on January 9th.
Yes.
Okay. And that's a conversion that you have to do based on whether it's -4 or -5.
Yes.
What does that depend on, -4 or -5?
It's the UTC time, Universal Time Coordinated. So it's on the world clock. So our Eastern Standard Time will change, fall back or spring forward based on the summer and the winter. And so during the summertime, it's going to be -4 from UTC time. And then during the winter time, it's going to be -5. So we just put it in so that the time that you have here is Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. And then the 2 rows over one next to duration, start, lack, /CID. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that information means and why it's important?
So that's going to be your location information. Your LAC is location area code, and then the CID or CID is your cell ID.
And that is what allows you to generate, or part of what allows you to generate the map that we see below?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the map that we see below. First, you have those two lines going out in almost a incomplete triangle. Can you tell us what we're looking at there and what's in the middle?
Yes. So the middle part, you're actually looking at a V, and it's going to be about a mile long here in the Metro Detroit area. The cell coverage that you're looking at for any particular tower is usually about a mile. So that V is a representation of the intended area coverage of the cell phone company.
Okay. And then there's a little pie chart in the middle in a little shade. Can you tell us what that means?
Yes, that is the intended area coverage.
Okay, that's the mile that you were talking about.
Yes.
And then you have a blue dot located to just above the top line there. Can you tell us what that is indicating?
That blue dot indicates 9,000 Connor, and that was requested to be placed on the map at this particular date and time.
Okay. And so what essentially is your conclusion about this map that we're looking at here? What does all of this mean?
In this particular date and time, so January 9th at around 4:09 p.m., the target device that we're looking at ending in 8719 is consistent with being in the area of the 9,000 Connor.
So that's 409, right? Now, where was Jarvis? Where was Naziah? Y'all help me out. At 409, where was Jarvis and where was Naziah? Do anybody remember? Do anybody know? And I see the chat is lit, and y'all not going to draw me down there to that chat and start laughing and joking and cut a fool with y'all. I'm ignoring the chat. I see Pee-wee is down there, and Pee-wee got the chat lit. All right, at the shop. All right, Kenyatta and Lisa both say at the shop. All right, keep that in mind. PJ at the shop.
And how precise is this location? I mean, you say in the area, there's no specific spot that you can say this was at this address. How precise can you get with this?
So we can only tell you what the address and location of the cell tower and their intended coverage. They actually give you that. So you're working with radio frequency. So it's not going to be an exact V that you see here. You're going to be working with radio waves. So it can be a little bit outside of the V or a little bit inside of the V, but basically this is just to demonstrate, you know, the intended area coverage of the cell phone company.
Okay. Going now to exhibit 34, which is on the screen. First, is this the same information that we saw in exhibit 33 across the top of the map in exhibit 34?
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, Kenyatta, because remember, his sister got there at the shop at 3:45. Appreciate that.
Okay. And you have 4 rows here instead of 1. Why do you have 4 rows instead of 1 in this map?
In this instance, the officer in charge requested to see a travel duration. So during the time between, I have 1838 and 1922, there are actually others in between, which you can actually see in the raw records. But to put that many records that happened in between is a lot. So basically we are showing the travel from the blue dot indicates 9,000 Connor, and then the black dot indicates Ypsilanti. And they wanted to depict it the travel from 9,000 Connor down to Ypsilanti during this time period.
And the first time period that you have for row number 1 is 18:38 and 16 seconds.
Yes,
So that would be 6:38 p.m.
yes.
And is there a corresponding number on the map that relates to each row?
Yes, and row, you can actually see the row column. So number 1 is going to coincide with number 1, which is just leaving the 9,000 Connor area. And then you see on row number 2, it's depicted on the map as number 2. And it's traveling down 94 west. And then number 3 coincides with line number 3, and then 4 and so on.
Okay. And so your conclusion, correct me if I'm wrong, would be that for number 4, at around 19:22 and 33 seconds, that phone was in the area of Ypsilanti.
Just west of it.
Just west of it?
I believe there's a little town there, but yes.
And 19:23, that would be 7:22 p.m.
PM. Yep.
Going to exhibit 35. And on exhibit 35, which is on the screen now, you have, again, 4 rows, but there's different coloring for that information. Can you describe what we're looking at and what the coloring means?
Yes. So the blue dot indicates 9,000 Connor again, and the purple dot indicates 13362 Wilshire. And those are the 2 locations that the officer in charge requested to be placed on the map. And they wanted to show that this device was in the area of either of these locations and at what time.
Okay, and so can you tell us about the lines closer to the 9,000 Connor location and what ones those correspond to in your records up top there?
So this is an RTT report or a time in advance report. And the row number 1 and 2, which one is a dark blue line, and the other is a light blue line, all indicate approximately around the area of 9,000 Connor during the time of 2028 and 2042, which is 8:28 p.m. and 8:42 p.m.
And so is it fair to say that this phone was in the area of 9,000 Connor at those times on January 9th?
It's consistent with being around the area.
And then the other 2, the purple and pink lines, can you tell us about those?
So there's a dark purple and a light purple, and that's around the area of 13362 Wilshire. And those are times of 2048 or 8:48 p.m. and then 2059 or 8:59 p.m. So the RTT information has moved from around 9,000 Connor to 13362 Wilshire during that particular time.
Now, Lisa says, I've said this before, but wonder why she didn't for 1 second think the afternoon girls hadn't harmed her, if Annette was clueless.
And so does that indicate that the phone was traveling towards the direction of the Wilshire address?
It could have been.
And you said RTT. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that means?
RTT is a real-time tool or time in advance. Basically, it's a report that T-Mobile will send out, and it's historical location information. It's not necessarily based off of any type of activity. So you're not going to have phone calls during this time. It's not going to be text messages, or as long as the phone is on and the cell tower basically, or the base is able to get in contact with the device and back. So basically it's a time that it takes for a base station to send out a signal and then have it received back from the device.
Stay right there, y'all, because I'm going to switch lanes to something else. And the reason why is because I'm going to bring it all together. And let me tell y'all something, all right? Y'all can follow behind Pee-wee's funky ass if y'all want to. Now, I'm gonna make a public announcement. Y'all follow behind Pee-wee's funky ass all y'all want to. Y'all got to keep in mind, Pee-wee is not over here on a regular basis. So when I come for y'all funky asses, make sure y'all thank Pee-wee. All right? Y'all stay away from Pee-wee's funky ass. But I want y'all to stay with me with what I'm showing. All right?
Is it fair to say that that's more of a passive interaction between the phone? There's no input on the phone that's required for this?
There's no input required at all. There's not, any type of cellular activity at that time. It's basically for, efficiency and performance by the network.
Going to exhibit 36 now, which is on the screen. On that first page, you have 8 lines. Can you tell us the reason you have 8 lines and what they're indicating here?
Number 36 is a cause report and tower map of the date and time of January 9th from 22:53 or 10:53 p.m. to January 10th of 2024 at 1:11 a.m.
Okay. And so that's the time you're analyzing here, is from closer to midnight on the 9th going into the next morning, early morning on the 10th, correct?
Yes.
All right. And going to the second page of this exhibit, can you tell us what we're looking at in this map on the second page of exhibit 36?
In this map, we're looking at rows 1, 2, and 3. So the red dot that you have right there, smack dab in the middle, indicates 2000 Harper, which is the Park Crest Motel. And then the next slide has a different address associated with it. But what we're looking at right here is the 2000 Harper Park Crest Motel.
And is that in Harper Woods? If you know.
That I don't know.
That highway that it's just off of, that's 94 highway, correct?
Yes.
And the 2 towers, or the 2 lines that you have here, does that indicate the phone was interacting with those towers at the times in rows 1, 2, and 3?
Yes. You see the dark blue tower on the south side facing north. That's the area coverage, and then you have the light towers the light tower up top, the light blue, which is number 3, and that's facing downward, and they encompass the area. They overlap the area of the Park Crest Motel.
Okay. And the phone was interacting with both those towers at 12:37 in the morning on the 10th.
Between 10:53 and 12:37 a.m.
And then going to the third page of this map, what are we looking at here on the third page, and what rows do they correspond to?
This third page is going to have a purple dot that indicates 4 East Alexandrian, and that is another location that was significant for the officer in charge to place on the map.
And sorry, maybe I missed you saying this. What rows does it correspond to on this map?
And that corresponds with the purple row. So each color represents the call detail records, the color on the call detail records report. So that's going to be row number 8 at 1:11 a.m. on the 10th of January.
And this is all for that target number ending in 8917, correct?
8719.
8719, sorry.
Yes.
All for the same number.
Yeah, all of these reports are for the same number.
And does that indicate to you that the phone moved from that Park Crest location down to where this is on Alexandrine?
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got Shake Video.
Yes.
Lisa says, how was she able to sneak out strict and that house? I was listening to the text messages. Times mostly after midnight, blind eye, not so strict, huh? It makes you wonder. But see, we all know that Miss Annette and Shannon, of course, they alibis. They had to come up with alibis. But like you said, how was Naziah able to sneak out? How did all of this go on underneath strict as Miss Annette's watch. I'm going to play a little bit more, then we're going to move on.
And then the last page of this exhibit, is this just an overview of both of those maps that we just looked at?
Yes, it is. So you'll see in the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end of the 9th at around 10:53, it's up at the Park Crest Motel up there on the northeast side. And then it travels down at around 1:11 in the morning on the 10th down to the purple area.
And that's the Alexandra.
It is.
Going now to exhibit 37, which is on the screen. And do you have that there?
I do.
And I'm going to be also going to a flashback of when I had Kiwana, Kenya, and Janelle on my panel, because they all said some interesting things. And I just want us to backtrack and tap into exactly what Janelle, Kenya, and Kiwana said in that demonstration. T-Lady says strict where she didn't care. Lisa says Shannon messed up. She never mentioned when they asked her for activities she needs said shop. Salute Moose. Salute Mel. Shank spamming the chat with them funky ass hot dogs. So y'all gotta do it. Y'all just gotta do it. Y'all won't allow me to get through these demonstrations without me cutting the fool. TT says, I think he was allowed in the house as he pleased was. He also was spending nights over their house also. That's when he would take her in the basement, and I wouldn't doubt it if he would wait till, you right, TT, they sleep. Because she mentioned that in the text messages. Shank is the reason I don't eat hot dogs. Now he forced them on me when we was kids, but still hit the like button. I love his Mountain Rock Kid. Pee-wee, I don't know what your funky ass is on tonight, but leave me alone, Pee-wee. Leave me alone, Pee-wee. Don't know what your funky ass is on tonight, but please leave me alone. I need to get through this demonstration. Don't laugh, Nicole. Don't y'all laugh at Pee-wee's funky ass. I need to get through this demonstration.
First, can you tell us again what we're looking at in the 3 rows on the first page of this exhibit?
So this is a time in advance report. You've got the row, the target, the day, and these are going to be, these are all in the color black and on the map for the second page. And basically it's showing on January 10th, 2024 from 22:51, which is 10:51 p.m. to 22:53 or 10:53 p.m.
So
on the 10th.
Later in the day on the 10th.
On the second day, yes.
Okay, and so we moved almost 24 hours, about 20 hours up from the last map, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if we could go to the second page. And where is this phone interacting with on, at the times that you just said, later in the day on the 10th?
The information received from the cell phone company is right around Greenfield and 7 Mile.
And is that the city of Detroit, Wayne County?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Oh. And going now to exhibit 38. We're looking at a lot more rows on exhibit 38. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Yes, this is the time period right after we were looking at 7 Mile and Greenfield. That time was all the way up until 22:53. So here we have from 23:40, which is 11:40 p.m. to 23:59, 11:59 p.m. And this is all on the same night of the 10th.
Okay. And this is so just about 40 minutes after the previous map, correct?
Approximately.
Okay. And was there any information in the records, if you know, between those two times, that 40-minute gap there?
They gave us a time in advance records.
Oh. And going to the second page of this, on the map here first, can you tell us what that red dot indicates on this map?
So that red dot indicates 7 Mile and Berg.
And in terms of the circles around that, what do those represent?
The time in advance distance from the cell tower. So that's all going to be around 7 Mile and Berg area.
Now, the $1 million question that everybody wants to know, where is Naziah? This is the $1 million question that we all keep getting asked. Where is Naziah? Now, do certain family members, I gotta ask y'all this, because when I had Janelle, Kenya, and Kiwana on my panel, Kiwana did mention to Kenya that you drove her off in your truck. Now, do the family members, do they know what happened to Naziah Hers? And if any family members are out there, we just want to know, where is Naziah Hers? Because we know that the family definitely knows. And when I go to that demonstration with them, we're going to see. We're going to see. And I watched it. I think some, but not all. And that's what I believe. I believe that, of course, those that are responsible know. I think some of them that's not responsible, I think some of them know. I think some of them know. And that alibi about being asleep is bull. Sleep alibi stopped working in the 70s. Exactly. I'm not paying you no attention, Pee-wee. Yes, she did. I think that household. Hank said, TT says, yes, I think they most definitely do. And it's eating they ass up. They losing weight, hair, and all kind of ish. They know. Some of them know. I don't think Kiwana know. I think all and that children know. The outside family knows something happened and knows she's gone, but not the instinct. Jonte dropped the 9. Salute, Latanya. I see. Capricorn, I'm with you. That whole household know. My bad, y'all. I tried reversing the word, but it reversed back. Yes, I agree. And see, when they family members be trolling my chat, you know, and this is why for me, this is why I allowed them to rock out in my chat. I knew they were family members. I knew certain ones. And I'm going to tell y'all how. Just give me a second. I'm trying to keep up with my chat. Correction officer. I'm a funky ass. I thought he was a CO. But I allowed them to troll the chat, right? And I noticed because I wanted to see, and I'm talking to the family that comes through trolling me. I wanted to see which one of my demonstrations they trolled, and I wanted to see which one of my demonstrations they didn't troll, right? Now, I noticed the demonstrations that I had with Kiwana, I noticed I got more troll action from those demonstrations. I sat back, watched. Y'all know I cut a fool, laugh, trip, have fun, but I'm always on point and I'm always watching. So I wanted to know why out of all my demonstrations, why only the demonstrations that I got Kiwana up here that I get the most trolling, right? And I'm going to tell y'all why. Salute, Lady V. I'm going to answer all these questions and more in a little bit. Them kids are safe now. Interesting. As you say, let it play out. Yes, positive vibes. Let it play out. They are telling. Oh, yeah. And see, here's the thing. I still give credit to Kenya, Roxy, Janelle, Kiwana, Marquita, and even Dre, because Dre and Marquita did pull up. So I still give them credit. Now, when it comes to Marquita, I do have to say that I want to see what part did Marquita play in all of this. I still don't think that she played a major part, but I believe that Marquita knows. Now, the one thing that stuck out to me and everybody with Marquita was when I asked Marquita about working up the shop. And y'all remember her answer. Y'all remember Marquita's answer when I asked her about working up at the shop. She said, hell to the no. I'm not no man. And then I even asked her about, the kids working up there. And, she did say, well, she didn't have no control over Naziah. She didn't have no control over Janai working up there. And I understand. So, with Marquita, I was like, but now this recent thing that happened with her and Dre, but just because, she was behind Dre getting locked up, do we mix Marquita in all of this? All of that is going to come out. Bear with me.
And is it fair to say then that this phone was interacting with those towers at the times you indicated around the 7 Mile and Berg area?
Yes.
And can you go back up to the first page? In row 1, what is the time there?
Row 1 is going to be on January 10th of 2024, 2340, which is 11:40 p.m.
And then the last row, what is the time on the last row?
January 10th of 2024 at 23:59. And that was just because the officer had asked for just that day. It actually indicates that it stays there for a little bit more in the morning.
Okay, how much more in the morning, if you know?
We actually have it in the next exhibit.
Oh, perfect. And so that phone on this exhibit, was it there from 11:40 to, at the very least, midnight almost on the 10th, correct?
The time in advance records, yes.
And again, this is time in advance. This is the passive interaction, no input from the phone or the user, correct?
Yes, no calls, no text, no nothing. This is just the signals that the base station is getting to the device.
And going to exhibit 39, and can you tell us what we're looking at on the first page of 39?
So this is going to be essentially a combination of the last two exhibits that we just saw. So this is going to be from January 10th of 2024 at 9:49 p.m. or 21:49 to January 11th of 2024, the next day or the next morning at 1:34 a.m.
Okay. And going to the second page of this exhibit now. First, on the far left side of the screen, what area is that again that we're looking at?
On the far left of the screen is going to be the red dot indicating 7 Mile and Berg.
And that's the same area that we saw in the last exhibit in 38. Correct?
Yes.
And in terms of what rows correspond to that one, how long was that phone there in that area into the next morning on the 11th?
Apps. Deep fried fist bumps for your mouth.
You have, let me see. Okay, so starting with row 1, it's down in the purple area, bottom right-hand screen. You see that the purple dot indicates 4 East Alexandrian, which we looked at a map from earlier. And then it goes to it's actually still there around the area of 4 Alexandrine, which is the purple on line 2. Then you see it start to traveling up to number 3, which is in the light blue area, which is in the middle one, just above the dark red. And then you see it show to the dark blue after the light blue, which is going to be still traveling north. And then that 7 Mile in Greenfield, which is that blue dot, and then going over to the 7 Mile in Berg.
And the 7 Mile in Greenfield, we looked at that one, I believe it was
We did.
36.
Yes.
And so where does the phone end up, and at what time is the last entry for the 7 Mile in Berg area?
So the 7 Mile in Berg area is at 134.13, number 8. And then you see that big kind of curved line. That's actually going to be line number 9. And that's when the device is essentially, moving away from the location.
And so that's basically all what we just heard. They're just establishing Jarvis being in the areas. Now, the question is going to be, where was Naziah located? All right. They don't have a body, but they do say Kim Worthy have mentioned that she do have evidence. Now, could they have just told us that they don't have a body, or could they do have a body? But they're establishing Jarvis. So, you know what I mean? And this is my opinion when it comes to Jarvis, right? And this is why I let it all play out to, they set Jarvis up. Jarvis was around. We know Jarvis was around. See, when you watch that birthday video, right? And notice when Jarvis comes in, right? Appreciate you being a member, Miss Wisha Ninja Wood. All of them, well, I ain't gonna say all of them, but Marquita wasn't too fond of Jarvis when Jarvis pulled up at that party. That's why I asked her, what was your relationship like with Jarvis? She didn't care for Jarvis. But Shannon was happy to see him, right? I see you, Lady V. And that was definitely happy to see it. Shank, that is my problem with this investigation. They can't give an exact location of where Jarvis was. Bingo. So how are you going to be able to establish if you can't pinpoint where he was at? Appreciate the super sticker, one love. Appreciate the super sticker, one love. So now at this party, right? Jarvis come through. They happy to see Jarvis. I believe Janiyah even ran up to Jarvis. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yet Marquita let her daughter go up there. She's no different than Shannon. Birds of a feather flock together. My opinion of Marquita, I asked her who's the oldest, and it's a reason. And Pee Wee can vouch for this. Marquita is the older twin. One thing that I do know about twins, I grew up with twins. Pee Wee and his brother, rest in peace, Reed, and some other twins. The older twin is very protective of the younger twin. They might argue, they might fuss, they might fight. But that older twin is very, very protective of that younger twin. Marquita is the older twin. Marquita's crime, Marquita's is guilty, my opinion, because Marquita, just like Miss Annette, they're covering for Shannon. And I've always felt this. When I do the demonstrations, many of y'all would say, Shane, I don't believe that it's Shannon. I believe it's Miss Annette. Miss Annette and Marquita, they covering. They covering. Right, TT. And the younger one be a little delayed sometimes. Facts. My ex-husband is a twin, and his older twin is his sister, and she will talk about him, but let someone else. Bingo. That older twin gonna get you up out of here if you go, at the younger twin. But let me go to this demonstration that I done with Kiwana, Kenya, and Janelle. Now they're gonna be scratching. Many of y'all was wondering why in the hell is Shank allowing them to catfight? Why Shank has so much patience while they catfight? Because I was always told a drunk man never lies. And when two cats is scratching, they're going to get some things off of their chest. See, many of y'all was listening to them scratching, but wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention. I was paying attention to everything they were saying. In my opinion, I don't believe Kenya. I don't believe Kiwana. I don't believe Janelle. I don't believe that they had anything to do with it. I don't. But by them venting, they were able to get some things off of their chest, and they were able to let us in on some things that we didn't know. But let's backtrack it, y'all. I'm gonna go to this demonstration with them, y'all. Bear with me. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate you, Alicia. Any last words before we?
If anything, she went on that podcast.
Appreciate the membership, Chen. All right, let's listen to this joint with Kiwana, Kenya, and Janelle. And y'all tell me what y'all get out of this. And I'll give y'all what I get out of this.
And played this little game instead of standing in her truth. You can't say, oh, I want an apology here, and there, but you don't stand on yours. That's not right. I don't respect that at all.
Kenya?
Yes. So your sister, as a matter of fact, you said that Roxy got your sister on Mark D's show to get at you.
Shit.
What was that?
No, go ahead. Let us speak, Kiwana. Go ahead, Kenya.
You said that Roxy got at you and got Sierra on Mark D's show to get at you. So let me tell you this. Your sister ran into Mark D and took a picture with him and told him she wanted to go on his podcast. Your sister got to his podcast. She called Roxy and let her know that she was going on to Mark D's show and she would like for Roxy to be there to support her. And that is why Roxy was there. So now you know your sister ran into Mark D and asked him to come on that show and tell her story. It didn't have nothing to do with Roxy. Your sister called her and asked her to come and support her. So now you know while you're dismissing what has happened to her, because you could tell clearly she was hurt behind what has happened to her. And the thing that's got me is how in the fuck do you know who everybody in the family is keeping in contact with and all these conversations they've had with them? How do you know what people are doing day to day in their own houses? How do you know that? I don't know what you do in your house. I mean, I'm sorry, your roach-infested apartment. Oops, let me stop. Anyway, you need to stop. You just saying all kind of stuff. And you're wrong. Your sister clearly was hurt behind what had happened to her. And I believe her. But you're dismissing that. And you literally say, oh, that was just to get at me. It's all about Kiwana. It ain't about nobody else. It's about Kiwana. And
I'm going to stop it right there. Appreciate that super sticker, Jessica. Appreciate that super sticker. I got a new subscriber. Make sure y'all give my new subscriber. You're going to make me mess your name up already. Look, I can't spell, all right? So, but y'all see who it is. Make sure everybody give my new subscriber a warm welcome. Ivan, I ain't even going to try to mess. Look, give her a warm welcome, all right? Appreciate you for pulling up. I've been trying to send a super sticker, but it won't go through. If you let them talk too long, they'll tell on themselves. Renee, I was married for 16 years, hated it. It was roaches for me, out of order. Did she say infested? Avian, welcome, Avian. All right, I'm going to call you Avian, all right? And see, let me let it ride. Let me let it ride, y'all.
They're getting at me, and they're throwing lies out on me. Man, you need to stop. You really do.
All right, you know what? You the devil. You the devil. You know what Sierra did, don't you? You a devil.
I don't.
Yes, you do. You a whole demon sitting up there, and you keep speaking on stuff that you know the things that Sierra has done to other children.
And I wasn't finished.
Can I finish?
Did you know that we left here in 1981 and moved to California, and I didn't come back here till I was 2 weeks from turning 16?
Just like you drive trucks out of town, but you drive trucks for Chrysler, you go right across the street. You lied to these people. You lied to these people and said you drive trucks out of town. You go from one side of the street to the other one. That's what you was doing during the Nasiah thing. Now you drive trucks everybody know when you got that truck.
What the fuck that do? I'm driving got to do with anything. I don't drive a Chrysler.
That's true.
They go to truth, bitch. She blatantly lying. She's lying like she been in and out of town, bitch. You worked across the street from Chrysler. She drove a truck from Chrysler across the motherfucking street. But you was in town.
I don't work.
You a liar. Yes, you did. You drove a truck.
I drive an 8-axle truck. I drive an 8-axle flatbed truck, and it does not go to Chrysler.
You get fired. She's a lying bitch. Trying to sit here knowing what Sierra is. Listen, Shank. That's my sister. That's my sister.
Man.
And I'm trying my best to sit here and be humble.
I'm
trying my best to sit here and be humble. But this demon bitch, she know that Sierra need help. She need help, and she gonna sit here and make it like she just a victim. She's victimized other children, you demon bitch, and you know it. You know it, you demon bitch. You know it. That's why I saw her in the beauty supply. That's why I put my hands on her, you demon bitch. And you took her side and said, you're wrong. You're wrong. When she was in the wrong for the shit that she did to all these motherfucking kids. You demon bitch.
You're a pathetic excuse of an elder.
You a demon ass bitch. I fucking hate you, dog. I fucking hate you. She ain't gonna talk about what happened to her kids.
You're jealous.
You told you was fucking your adopted brother. You were fucking your adopted brother, bitch. You left your kids out of town, and motherfuckers had to go get your kids because you was chasing the man out of town. You left your children out of town, bitch. You was taking money from the mama. God is my witness, Shank. My older cousins had to check this bitch for fucking stealing from her own mama on her deathbed. You dirty bitch.
Girl, my mama died in Vegas. What is you talking about? My mama died in Vegas.
Stealing money from your mama.
Your mama
Nobody
died in Vegas.
fucks with you, Kenya. Nobody likes you. You stole kids' identity. She stole children's identity, social security numbers, and ran up light bills, gas bills, and scams. You lying demon bitch.
You mad, ain't you?
mad at the truth.
I need to get in contact with Crystal.
That's
I need
the
to get in
truth.
contact with Crystal Gambo.
She a demon bitch. She want to keep on making Sierra a victim.
Gambo.
Sierra got to
Y'all need
stand
to
up
find Crystal
and get
Gambo.
help. She got to get help.
Y'all
Because the
need to
shit
find
that
Crystal
hurt people, Shank. Hurt people.
You are the one.
She's got to accept that she
She
got a
jumped on her
problem.
own sister when she was in the beauty salon. She jumped on her own. She jumped on
exactly why.
Yeah, you demon bitch. You demon bitch. You a demon bitch. You a demon, dog. You know.
You're a sorry excuse for an elder in his family.
And now you're bringing your kids into it. Now
My son grown, bitch. You got my daughter crying
you know
outside.
where I live. You know where I live. Pull up. Pull up. You know where I live. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. You know where I live. You know where I live. Pull up.
That's why I'm mad, y'all. This bitch is demon, man. They've been coming for us all fucking year. All fucking year. Stay quiet. She's a liar. She probably took Nasiah. You bitch, you drive the truck. You dirty bitch. Where's Nasiah? Where's Nasiah? Where are the fucking clothes on doing the planet, bitch? Where the clothes? Since you drove a truck to Texas, bitch. Where's Nasiah?
Pull up.
Where's Nasiah, bitch?
Pull up, and we can resolve it.
Where's Nasiah, bitch? You put her in your fucking truck? Where's Nasiah?
And that's what I wanted to get to. I just wanted to get to Kiwana's statement as far as she's saying that Kenya put her in the truck. She also stated, "Where's Nasiah?" So, what are y'all thoughts on this? I think that this is an interesting discussion. How do y'all feel? EJ says, "Damn." Kenyatta, that's Kiwana's son. EJ says, "Damn." Primo, what are y'all thoughts? Darlene says, "Oh my God." Simon, you know she had to wipe her phone down. People say anything when they're mad. I feel like they all get protected over Shannon. She's the baby. Cornisha says, "Wow." And here's my opinion. I'll just say this. I think she's a damn lie. And I could be wrong. But I just think, like you said, and you know, when you get mad, you say anything. But then again, who knows? But what is your thoughts? I think she a damn lie. I think she was just talking on the end. Kiwana knows Kenya didn't put Nasiah in her truck. I can see they veins popping out. Oh my God, oh Lord. Clearly there's a lot of trauma not tended to. Okay, she was spitting all over the screen. They need help mentally. I don't believe anyone but Auntie. These are the family secrets people are uncomfortable uncovering. Yes. I think she was just throwing digs. That's right. And it always was on my mind, but I was like, let me just let things die down and let me see what, everybody else is saying about it. All of the arguing is a distraction. Tetris for real. I don't think they had any dealings with helping get rid of the body. I believe they know she's gone, but it was only immediate family to help get rid of the body. I think she is telling the truth because Kenya is a liar. I think I'm thirsty, but she spilled the tea. That was a lot. I'm going to let it finish off, and then we're going to move on.
Because your daughter mad, bitch. Your daughter been in the city popping bottles, spending money, blowing bags, bitch. Where's the money? How the fuck she got her phone? How the fuck she the one end up at the motherfucking site with the pink jumpsuit, bitch? You know what's going on. You a fucking lying demon, bitch.
Pull up.
Where's Nasiah, bitch?
Pull up, man. Pull up.
Hate that bitch, though. I hate that bitch. Where the fuck is Nasiah, bitch?
Pull up, Pull up. That's all you gotta do.
Grow up.
So we can get it out. Pull up so we can get it out. And get over with. Pull up. So we can get over with it. So we can get through this. Pull up, because this is what it's going to take. It's going to take for me to beat your ass.
Girl, I will beat the brakes off you.
Come on, then. Come on. You know
I will beat the brakes off you. You know it. You know it. I will jam cross the fuck out you. I will hit you with a liver shot so cold. Bitch, you so cold, you won't know you had a liver. Sick of you, demon bitch. Hate this bitch. Anyway, back to the subject. Where the fuck is Naziah? How did your daughter get Naziah phone? How did she get Naziah phone, Kenya? Why is it that your daughter was the only one? How is it that your daughter found the pink jumpsuit? Huh? Your daughter all of a sudden was out there finding evidence and shit. Right. Y'all some fucking liars. Yeah, liar. Everyone in the city, liar. Liar. All of a sudden, Naziah came up missing on the 9th, bitch, and your daughter drove out of town on the 6th. Bitch, closed her house on the 4th. Last February, the end of February, she never knew where the fuck is Naziah. Y'all know where she at, bitch. You know where she at. But y'all trying to spin it around and make everybody hate the people that know we fighting because we know you bitches dirty. Y'all dirty.
Now we dirty.
Yeah.
Y'all
driving across the street talking about she been out of town.
Like I said, I got some
you
gas
a
money
liar.
for you. Pull up.
You said fucking lie. You only using these people. You using these people because you want to clear your fucking name. That's why y'all was dropping all them lies on the internet from the Naziah phone so people can get off y'all ass. Because y'all people starting to realize that y'all liars.
Okay.
Yeah, that people was in your ass.
Hey, like I said, I got some gas money for you. I got some gas money for you. Some money, pull up. Pull up.
Girl, you better stay on Grand River and Artesian, bitch.
Hey,
that's what
Grand
you better
River,
do.
Artesian, and Rosedale Park, bitch. I don't stay in a roach infested apartment like you.
Bitch, I got a 6-bedroom house.
You got a 6-bedroom. You got 3 bedrooms, a bathroom.
Kenya, all I will say to the family is that, I still ask everyone to pray for the family. I do. And I do feel like, and it's just my opinion, I don't feel like Kiwana nor Kenya had anything to do with it. I don't. I do believe that they're angry, they're frustrated, and they're mad, But I'm glad that I had the platform for them to be able to get all of this off of their chest. Like, look, get it off your chest. All right. Now, we're going to move forward. Give me a minute. Let me take this down and we're going to move forward. But they both were saying some deep things. They both were saying some deep things. Now I'm going to go to Jarvis's sister, because Jarvis's sister is basically going to fill us in on everything that we heard thus far. She's going to be able to stamp the timestamps. Well, to me, her and matter of fact, before we go to Jarvis' sister, let's come to Shannon. Because Shannon and Jarvis' sister, they give us a lot of food. Well, I got Jarvis' sister. Let's go to Jarvis' sister. Now, let's listen to Jarvis' sister. I'm not going to play all of Jarvis' sister.
Let's turn your ambition into action. Transform experience into expertise and passion into leadership.
All right, let me see what my chat's saying, and then we're going to move on. Can't sit down in that MF, stand in the middle of the floor and watch your back and head. Like they should be sticking together like they were at the beginning, but everybody let this internet divide them because they wanted to make it about self. Kiwana said she willing to putting their differences aside for Naziah, but Kenya didn't agree. Salute, Miss Belinda. Let me see. All right, let's peep a little bit of Jarvis's sister.
A shot on Hopper and Connors. I don't.
All right. You hear her mention the shot on Hoppers and Connor.
Thank you. And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and F called Frank's, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
What would you say to somebody that hasn't tried therapy before?
Just ask yourself if what you're doing in your life right now is working.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26th, 2024?
Yes.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
All right, now Jarvis' sister is saying that that's why she spoke with the Detroit Police Department, because she thought she saw Naziah on the day she went missing. Keep that in mind also. You can't even hardly turn around in that shot. She said she could see her that well from the car while Naziah in the store was right next to the shop. So she reached out to the detectives because she thought she saw Naziah on that day.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this a lot?
So from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a two car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck.
Now, and I still have to question that. She said she saw a little girl get in and out of the truck. Now, you know your brother's MO. You know your brother's get down. Okay? Now, you saw this little girl in and out of the truck, right?
Going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe a Cadillac Escalade.
Now, that's the first red flag. That should have been the first red flag. You know your brother's get down. Your brother likes inappropriate relationships with little girls. Your brother has done 8 years for that. Now you see this little girl in and out of the truck, right? You don't know this little girl. You question your brother about the little girl. Your brother tell you, oh, that's just King's niece. All right.
Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a 2 garage shop?
Yes.
Okay, and I want to approach with people's exhibit 7.
Okay.
She's upset, y'all. She's really upset.
Now, Ms. Books, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in people's exhibit 7?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis's truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here, I was parked facing.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them.
I don't know what direction it is, but going towards garage. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is something that we all question as far as where she was parked. Many of us question where she was parked. Bridget says she knows how her brother is. Why didn't she step in and interfere? Right.
Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yeah, your car was.
Yeah.
Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction. So.
And see, this is why from the very beginning, and remember, I caught a lot of tacos. A lot of y'all was coming for my head. But remember, from the very beginning, I always said that Jarvis's sister was suspect. You know, because Brother Shank, I've been trying to let y'all know something for 2 days, but Miss Parker want to answer my call. Please keep my hubby in prayer. He's on life support. It don't look good, and thank you. Can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for God's child blessings? Yvette C. Can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for God's child blessings? I will make sure that I call you myself, Yvette C., as soon as I end this demonstration. I'll make sure I call you myself, Yvette C. All right? Prayer hands for God's child blessings. But as I stated, it was always something about the sister. I mean, because it's nowhere in the world. It's 2 things all women come with. All women have that women's intuition, right? I believe some of y'all call it y'all 6th sense. All women are nosy as hell. That's a known fact. Women are nosy as hell. Now, she said, she asked Jarvis, who was the little girl, in and out of his vehicle. She said, oh, Jarvis said, oh, that's just King's niece. She stopped right there. Women are nosy. Well, why is she in and out of your truck? Right? And she would have asked Jarvis that immediately. Well, what is King's niece doing in and out of your truck? She never went any further, right? Sasha says, but y'all, what good would it have done if sister did step in? Remember, Naziah went and told, and CPS still didn't do anything. It could have maybe let Naziah seen that somebody cared about her. See, this is what was going through Naziah's mind. Naziah felt like nobody cared about her. Everybody that she went to, they let her down, except Jarvis. And that's why many of us believe that Jarvis was in love with Naziah. Many of us believe that that's what really sent Shannon over the edge. It was in Shannon's mind, it was deeper than Jarvis inappropriate touching her. Shannon was looking at the fact that, oh, you in love with my niece? Oh, hell to the no. She couldn't take it out physically on Jarvis. Well, she could have, but it was more easier if she took it out on Naziah. See? So when it comes to the sister, and this is my honest opinion on the sister, I believe that the sister, that's why the sister is crying. That's why the sister is hurting so bad, because the sister knows, damn, if I would have done a little bit more, I don't feel like the sister is guilty. I don't feel like the sister knew, but I believe that the sister knows I could have done more. And that's what really hurts the sister. And that's why the sister is crying, because the sister knows. And I think that the sister probably just brushed it off, probably ain't paid no mind. But that sister knows that she could have saved Naziah, because all she had to do was ask Naziah one simple question. Hey, little girl, what's your name? Hey, little girl, are you okay? Hey, little girl, what is you doing with my brother? It's just as simple as that. I believe when Naziah, look at all the people that failed Naziah. The school counselor. Some say, well, the counselor wasn't there, Shank. The school failed Naziah. Most kids feel as though they can get help from a teacher, a principal, a counselor. Most kids feel like they could get help from somebody at school. They didn't help her. All Naziah wanted was somebody to care about her. And that's why this story touches the content creators and you subscribers. Because if she would have been able to reach out to any of us, oh, we definitely would have cared about her. All Naziah wanted was somebody to care about her. She said it to the monster. I ain't gonna never get out of this hellhole. She said that to the monster. I ain't gonna never get out of this hellhole. She had to turn to the monster for women's monthly necessities. That's cold. That's cold. So when it comes to the sister knows that she could have done more. She could have done more. A little bit more from the sister. We're going to move on to Shannon. Then we're going to get out of here.
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay. Now, do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Okay. And
so now, according to her, Naziah had on a colorful jacket. We know that the evidence that what she was wearing was that black hoodie, but you know, she could have changed. But that's still something to make you think. All right, appreciate that super chat, Lady V. Naziah wasn't going to tell that lady anything because she told the teacher at school that Jarvis was her dad, in my opinion. She may not have got in details with Jarvis's sister, but the simple three questions, I believe she would have answered the sister. Hey, little girl, what's your name? I believe she would have said, my name's Naziah. I'm sure she would have answered her when she asked, are you okay? She would have either said yes or no. But according to the sister, remember, the sister didn't see Naziah's face. The sister didn't really see Naziah up close, according to the sister. Now, if Naziah would have answered her, if Naziah would have started and with that open line of communication, then the sister would have been able to see her stomach. The sister would have been able to tell whether or not Naziah was okay. I believe that that's what really hurts this sister. Not that the sister had anything to do with it. I think that the sister knows deep down inside she could have stopped it. She could have prevented it. That's just my opinion, y'all. I see you, Quita.
What door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. You understand my approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Handing you what's marked as People's
See.
Exhibits 2.
See her facial expression.
Okay. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10? Your Honor, I would move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
I move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that also, where is the what you recognize People's Exhibit 2?
Looks like channel 2 here, maybe.
Okay, facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And you recognize the jacket in this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but it looks the same.
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
It would be this one right here.
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket? It seems to be the back of a jacket? Okay, thank you. And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out and going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Now, I could be wrong, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Why didn't they present the pink onesie? Why didn't they present the Nike shoes? Now, if the sister witnessed Naziah, seen Naziah, why didn't they show her the pink onesie or the Nike shoe? Why did they show her the black hooded sweater or hooded jacket. This is why I keep saying the math don't add up with that pink onesie. It don't. A little bit more, because Shannon gave the description of, I believe, was it jeans or a uniform? I believe Miss Annette. None of them mentioned anything about that pink onesie. They only referenced the pink onesie and the Nike ads to the detectives. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'll say it again. The math ain't adding up, y'all. It's not. They didn't ask Jarvis's sister. They didn't ask King's son, aunt. They didn't ask Miss Annette or Shannon about the pink onesie.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
I would say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit farther, I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm really bad at estimates.
20, 25 feet.
Yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car. When I was walking towards her, I was like, she's tiny, and I just remembered the coat.
Okay. Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Kind of skinny and short.
Okay.
I'm going to stay right there. According to her, the little girl was skinny and short. Was Naziah pregnant on the day that she went missing? Once again, the math not adding up. Was she pregnant or not? According to her, she was skinny and short. She would have noticed that she was pregnant. Let's go to, let's switch lanes to Shannon, and then we're going to get out of here.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis? And do you have any children?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes.
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
Green, blue, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes.
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
Yes.
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
Yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes. We all call her Tuda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes.
And did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
Yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
And this is what always stood out to me, and it still stands out to me. Now, we know she's lying. She asks, what type of relationship? Shannon says, niece, uncle, nothing more, nothing less. But then later on in this testimony, she's going to read the text messages. She's going to talk about those text messages and how she felt when she saw those text messages. So Shannon is definitely lying for all the new timers. For everybody that's new, that's just pulling up, this is one of the lies that Shannon was caught in.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come, pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
All the kids will be around.
To your knowledge, would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
That's the next lie. That's the next lie. Would Jarvis ever text Neziah? No, not unless I would have her text her. But according to those explicit text messages between Neziah and Jarvis, and she, once again, she found the text messages. So why is she lying? That's a lie number 2 for all the new timers, for all the newcomers that just pulled up to the case. Myself and everybody else, we already know this. But this is for the newbies.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship?
No.
Would there ever be times where, where did you know Jarvis wants to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis wants to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Grashford and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
More is right within your reach. At Northeastern, you'll find more ways to transform ambition into action.
Would you ever know Neziah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Neziah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Neziah.
Why wouldn't you shut that ish down? Hell no, my daughter or my niece ain't coming up there. Bump happened to call my mom and ask my mom. Hell to the no. First of all, He shouldn't even had the thoughts to even call and say, can the girls come up and work? That should have been automatically shut down from the very beginning, period. I mean, come on.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Neziah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my fourth oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
Only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Box?
The 313-585-8719.
And that's the number. Appreciate that super sticker, Miss T. That's his number. We know that that's his number.
And did you have any numbers for Neziah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16 and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
Brandon, may I approach?
Yes.
Shannon got a lot of explaining to do.
I'm going to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Now remember, everybody, remember my newbies. What, 5-10 minutes ago, she said that their relationship should be no more than uncle and niece, right?
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
Appreciate that super chat, Miss T. Not feeling well today. I'm watching and doing an amazing job. Can we get some prayer hands up for my moderator, Miss T? Hope you feel better, Miss T.
What about messages from August 26th, 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts? August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Neziah texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Neziah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
And before I let it ride, but notice, everybody, all my newbies, notice. They didn't contact Jarvis to find out if Neziah may be up at the shop, or do you know where she is? But she's going to say that they called them to put up some flyers of Neziah missing. But you don't get at Jarvis to find out whether or not he's seen Neziah. You only get at Jarvis to put up some missing flyers on your Facebook.
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, has he seen Tuda, any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back, oh wow.
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part I had, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no tada.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Nizaya still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just acted if she's going to read from the text message, just admit the exhibit.
I can.
Issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Okay.
These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier.
And we're going to have to pick up tomorrow. I will let a little bit more of this ride out. Ms. Parker will be going live in less than 10 minutes. So make sure everybody pull up on Ms. Parker, and we will pick up where we leave off at right here. We're going to pick up tomorrow. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running. Y'all can hang around. Make sure y'all pull up on Ms. Parker in 10 minutes. Salute everybody.
Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, that'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st, 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last three messages?
These last three messages is to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or Tada is on. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me, call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it.